Hello.
Hi. All right. All right, I'll get started. So if you have any questions about anything, or you have, any comments you want to make, you can DM me, and then whenever at the end, I'll go back through my DMs and answer anything. But I'll get started. So what my expectations are for the guild for SoD, I will personally be raid leading something on the weekend, probably around 11 a.m. EST. That might be too early for some people or whatever, but I anticipate being able to recruit like some group of people that will be able to raid weeknights. The guild focus. We're not going to be trying to rush like server first BFD because I believe that'll go to whoever zones into it first. However, I would like to have some competitive natured groups going on. I'm not really trying to accept my full dad status, But I do want to do something competitive. I don't really care if we're number one, but I don't want to be number 100. As far as PvP goes, likely from 1 to 50, that's going to be my personal focus. I'll probably try to have 2 or 3 characters maxed out on rank each phase. And I think it's like rank 4 for phase 1 or rank 3 for phase 1, and then it'll probably be like rank 5 for phase 2, and then I think phase 3, the level 50 cap, will let you go all the way up to I think rank 10, if I'm not mistaken. It's been a while since I looked at the chart, but there's going to be serious PvP happening. Whether or not that's where our focus lies is up to the people in the guild, and we'll figure that out as we play the game. We're never going to PTR, even if it's available. We'll never speedrun, even if it's the meta. That's just not what I find enjoyable, and it's not what draws me to this game. So, unfortunately, you might want somewhere else to play if that's what you want out of the game. And as far as like why we're playing, it's not to be number one. It's just to enjoy the game at a high level. And as far as loot system goes, it's to be determined. If I end up in a situation where most people can't raid the weekend where I'm going to be playing, I could revert to like a GDKP type system for the raid I will lead. With all the new loot coming out that we haven't ever seen before, and all the new specs and new metas developing, I can anticipate a loot council being problematic if people are not very well informed about how the game functions and different roles and things like that. So it may be smart to go DKP. However, we may actually go with loot council just because it's the most efficient loot system for progression-based gameplay. But again, when we get to that bridge, we'll cross it. For 10 mans, like if for BFD for example, it'll probably be soft res or slash roll, because it's just 10 people and the loot's very very low impact. Like it's not gonna last very long. In the grand scheme of things, probably there might be some like really really obscure item or something that's really good for a while, but I don't anticipate any of that loot being a problem because it's a 3-day lockout, 10-man raids. I expect the tuning of that raid to be like upper Blackheart Spire level of content. I don't expect it to be too difficult. So my expectation is like anybody who goes in there will get the loot they want after a couple, like 2 or 3 runs. And we'll have 6 weeks of phase 1, so I'll move on to the next thing. So why do we want to play SoD? Well, it's going to be a new meta, which I've always found fascinating. Like we spent 2 or 3 years on a Wrath Lich King private server that was stuck in vanilla. Really loved it. Liked the idea of doing 40-minute content with a new meta. Personally, I'll be leveling like probably 3 or 4 different tank classes to see which ones I want to stick with, and then probably stick to 2 or 3 for long term. The content is less serious in that we're probably not going to have like hundreds of servers worldwide competing with all these top end world guilds. Probably just going to have like, it'll probably be popular, but I expect there to be like less than 5 servers that are populated and probably less than 10 guilds that are serious in any real capacity. But I still think the content will be engaging and fun and enjoyable for like group play. So that's why we're pursuing a guild. So what I expect the 25 cap phase to look like. So like I said earlier, it's a 3-day lockout. There is going to be a world buff that comes from it. I have it shown on the slide. It gives 2% crit and 20 AP, and then more importantly, it gives you 20% move speed, which is pretty cool. We probably like stock up on these for like whenever the next phase cap launches. We like pop one every 2 hours or whatever. We don't know what the mechanics of using them are or whatever. It could just happen whenever you kill the boss or something. More importantly, there are these crafted items that are, if these items exist in this game right now, people would use them at level 60. Like, they're very good. The on-use conditions for these specs are just like busted. You would use some of these. You'd use on bosses at 60, like the boots, the spider silk boots. Warlocks would use those at 60, no problem, like no fucking doubt. That proc is overpowered. But anyway, the point I'm getting at is like the meta is gonna be changed. It's more likely that people go one of these specs. Now all these items are based on like existing crafted items, and then you add like some other little item to it, and then you can craft the item. So even though it's BOP, the base item is BOE, and likely the item that you combine with that BOE is from the raid somehow, or maybe it's from the PvP. But wherever it comes from, that's probably obtainable by the player that's going to equip the item. So you can make a lot of gold crafting these things and selling them. And you don't have to be a leather worker or a tailor yourself or a blacksmith. Somebody else can do this for you. And there's probably going to be like some kind of equivalent item each of these phases per different item slot. The item that's not pictured here is a mill chest that has a like proc whenever you're struck. It can make the mob that struck you take 2 additional damage, which isn't great. It's not that crazy, but these are definitely crazy. Like the 10% increased attack speed is just nuts. Spell damage 10% is crazy. So for the 25 cap for PvP, there's going to be some world buff that's involved with this. There's some kind of gameplay elements that are down to mine that look like Alterac Valley. Like there's this like king NPC that has these lieutenant NPCs that are buffed based on the NPCs that are up still, kind of like Alterac Valley. And I expect it to be on like a Wintergrasp like timer maybe. So that's kind of what we expect. The Warsong Gulch rep, there's supposed to be new Warsong Gulch rewards from Warsong Gulch rep. So in addition to doing the battleground, we'll be doing this world PvP thing. I expect there to be like 10 layers on every server that they launch with. So I expect this thing to be going on all the time. If it's like exactly like Wintergrasp, it doesn't matter how many layers there are. It'll just be like one for the whole server, and it's like how Wintergrasp works on Wrath. Now instead of it being like one game out in the world, it's actually an instance that ports you into the game. So it's kind of like pseudo instanced and pseudo world. It's hard to explain. But basically, it's like a timed event. Doesn't matter the number of phases. There's no like gaming it. We can't just go like to Ashenvale 1, do there and then do Ashenvale 2 and get a reward again and give it Ashenvale 3. You can only do one every 2 hours or whatever the timer is. Probably is what I expect the mechanics to work. But it's probably, depending on how it works and what the reward scheme is for it, it could be the main thing we're doing while we're online at 25. And we could be doing this until we're 60 or even at 60, depending on what the world buff is and other things. But this Warsong Gold Trap, the items from Warsong Gold Trap are insane anyway, so it's definitely something to pursue. Very hard on the way up to 60. So they leak. There's gonna be like a Nowhere and Scarlet Monastery raid, and then they also leaked that there's like a Cares and Crypts thing. The Cares and Crypts thing is probably level 60 content. The Nomer and Scarlet Monastery raids, I expect the Nomer to be at 40 and the SM to be at 50. They're gonna have like a catch-up mechanic where the previous phase gets experience increased. So if you skip a phase, for example, you like enjoy the 25 phase, but then you have to do college finals or whatever for phase. You can just skip a phase and do 50 phase, and you won't be that far behind because they'll reduce the amount of XP you need to get to the next cap, which is good for having alts. I think this is gonna be like a very alt heavy. This isn't very classic WoW in general, but it's gonna be a different kind of game. My recommendation to everybody is to have multiple characters up to 25, so that whenever they raise the cap to 40, you can stop leveling them at 35 and then have those characters ready for Arcanite and Cure Rugged Hides and Mooncloth for the level 60 content and passive income. My recommendation would be to have all 10 of your character slots filled with level 35s, all at 300 tailoring or whatever. So as far as endgame rating goes, it's going to be totally based on what you guys want to do. Like I said, I'm going to be recruiting for 2 teams at the beginning, and if it doesn't pan out that I have the people with the desire to raid on 2 teams, then I'll go back to 1 team. I fully expect the first 3 phases of the game, so the first 18 weeks or like the first half of the year, like what does that put us in, summer, to be totally like part-time. I expect people to be able to play both hardcore and discovery simultaneously if they want to, or wrath and discovery simultaneously. It seems like very low effort requirements to play both. But I do expect that once you hit 60, a lot of things are going to open up, and it'll be a big time sink. As far as this guild goes, there's going to be our sister guild over on Hardcore, and we'll continue to play regardless of what we do on SoD. And some people will be playing both, and I'll encourage people to play both. So if you're worried about us like quitting Hardcore and going to SoD, you shouldn't have to worry about that. I'm going to be right back. I'm going to get some water. Sorry about that. I'm recovering from the flu. So I'll open up my DMs to questions if anybody has any.
You say weekends. It's just Friday, Saturday.
Yeah, so I live in Japan, so my Saturday, Sunday is Friday, Saturday. So the primary day will be Saturday. And then if I need more time, I'll take Monday off, so it'll be Saturday, Sunday. But I'll probably be doing things on like Fridays as well. If that makes sense.
Sort of. The old times, I mean, the morning sucks. Are these what are these times? What time zone?
I'm in Japan, so
They're yours? Okay.
yeah, they're mine. Which times are you talking about?
11 a.m.
That's East Coast.
Jesus Christ.
Get in the more DM. Get a couple more DMs. Hold on. Yeah, so there's no announcement about if the content's phased or not. Like if we're gonna do a natural progression between like Molt Core, BWL, AP40, like a release. We don't know how to look. I anticipate like them to do like some minor changes to like existing content and then release a whole new set of content at the same time. And then and that new content being lateral to whatever they are releasing. So if they release Molt Core, maybe they release like some boss that gets tuned up, like Ragnarok or something. There's like a way to do like a hard mode version or something, and then I expect there to be like another raid that is as hard as Molt Core released alongside it. Depends on how they. So, do you anticipate World PvP to be competitive? So, it really depends on whether or not they implement systems to make it competitive, and Blizzard does not have a very good track record of any kind of emergent gameplay in PvP. Like they really don't have, like everything they do in that way is accidental. So I don't anticipate things going that way, but you know, that they could surprise me. As far as like servers we're gonna choose to go to, like we need more info on the server schemes and what they are gonna release. We still don't know basically anything. I don't want to go to the RPPP server if it's going to be dead. Basically, I don't want to go to a dead server, and so I'm not going to go to a dead server, and I will like choose a server with a queue time if that's what I have to do. It's not. I'm not against it. I'm not looking to go into a 6-hour queue time like Harad, where it's like one-sided faction. Like I'm looking for a balanced faction, like there to be competitive PvP. Faction wise, and we're on Horde, by the way. We're gonna stay with Horde.
Our PvP servers are usually pretty balanced and big.
Yes, but we don't even know. You're right, but we don't even know if there's gonna be one, so we can't say. We don't know, you know. But yeah, that's what we want. Ideal like my dream server would be like 50-50 high pop, 2-hour queue time at most, and RPPP. Like that would be my dream server, but we don't know. We don't know what that looks like. I can say that I've been working with a bunch of other guild masters from all kinds of places, trying to figure out what a best looking home would be. Trying to band multiple hordes guilds together so we don't end up on a high alliance pop, no horde type situation. So I'm at least doing that. And once they announce like server names, because usually that's how that kind of stuff plays out, is they announce server names and then guilds start saying we're going here, and then I'll be able to start compiling lists of like, okay, these guilds are going here, the roster is this big, and here I'll link you. So I've done this in the past. Like when 2019 launched, this is what I did this for that, and basically I was able to find out, you know, Harad was like ridiculous overpopulated, and I'm gonna put it on my stream and I'll put it in the chat. But basically, I mean, it's not the cleanest looking spreadsheet, but gave you a rough estimate of like, you know, what the server's gonna look like, and mostly they're accurate. Horde had like Globulus had a 60-40, like Horde at launch there was a Horde favor 60-40 on Globulus, and you know they got transfers and stuff that balanced it out over time, and then eventually overtook the Horde population even. But it started as Horde dominant. Same thing with like I did it for every server, and I cut down to the servers I cared about. But I mean, like, it pretty much stuck. I mean, this is like 2019, August. This is like when they first announced the names, before they announced the second round of servers.
You're not sharing the screen.
Am I not? Alright, hold on. It sucks that you have to like share. You have to like change the windows here. Here you go. There you go. It changed. So anyway, so yeah, so here's the graphs for like 2019. And I basically what I did was I had like a bunch of guild leaders like input themselves like how many people are you bringing, what server are you gonna roll on, and all these people voluntarily put this info in here, and I was able to determine. Now I probably won't get that level of cooperation this time, but I'll still be able to like figure out, hey, you know, because basically it's in everybody's interest to have a healthy server pop. If we saw that we were, for example, if we saw that there was like less than 30 like level, I don't know, if there was like less than, if we look at one faction like Alliance, and we saw like triple the number of high level characters, like leading characters in contention for server first of the class, if we saw that, we could very quickly decide, hey, the server looks dead, and we'll reroll. The strong point of one of the strong points of Discovery is that since the level cap is so low, it's very low investment to just hard reroll. We could just like, yeah, server's dead, we're gonna reroll. Like even if the whole guild is 25, like it's a day of leveling. It's not even that biggest fucking deal. Obviously, we'd decide that before like week 2, week 3 at the latest. We would decide that. We wouldn't do that week 6, you know.
They're not scaling the leveling.
No, it's straight up level 1 to 25. It'll be easy, and I recommend everybody in this channel and anybody watching the stream that you guys practice your leveling on hardcore in anticipation for the event. Like you should for launch day, you should try to aim for like a sub 6 hour 1 to 15, which is like very reasonable time. But highly recommend that you practice. It's no better time than now to do it. And there's some other things that are gonna play into the game, like you know, we don't know everything. We data mine some stuff, but so for example, when we talk about like data mining, they data mine some things like shrines, basically, that are like they're like mini Darkmoon Fair buffs. It's like 5% stam or 5% spirit, agility, whatever. And they're supposed to be like in the starting zones. Is what they data mined, they think. And they're supposed to be like Diablo shrines. Yeah, like Diablo 2 shrines or something. And you click on them and you get a buff. So it's kind of interesting. I don't know how that works or, you know, duration or anything like that it, you know, entails, but anyway, I expect there to be a lot of surprises in the leveling process. And add-ons like Questy have already said like they're not going to spoil new content for you. They're not going to update and add that new content in. Like there's going to be quest lines that they expand. Like the currently existing quest lines, they're just going to add like a whole nother 6 quests to in the chain that basically we're going to have to self-report to our guild and be like, hey, we found this. You know, go check this out or whatever. I just found this sick item from this quest that didn't exist before or whatever. There's going to be a lot of interesting stuff that we find that's going to be fun for the game. But yeah, anyway, back to the original question about would we reroll, and the answer is yes. We're not gonna have a repeat of Season Mastery where, you know, people are 2 weeks in, 60 or whatever. Like anything you do within the first 4 weeks or so is probably redoable within 1 week with the 25 cap. Anybody else got questions? What about SoD is the most exciting for me specifically? So I like to tank. I like to play like tanking role. In WoW specifically, and normally I have like one of every tank at max level, and I like to see how their mechanics interact with the game. Like how you can do different things with those classes within like boss mechanics and stuff like that. So I was excited to try out new tanking classes and just like you know, and see how they kind of fit into the vanilla metagame. This is like I know a lot of people kind of not excited about this game mode and like all this new content, but this is like my dream game mode basically. Like I don't know if they have been like, I don't know, fucking hacking me in my sleep or something. Like I don't know, but this is like the game mode I want to play more than probably anything that Blizzard has made since Warcraft 3. Like this is it. This is the thing I want. Like taking vanilla content and then adding a new way to approach it, that's like my fucking shit. That's it. I played on so many private servers that have like done similar things and enjoyed it immensely, and with Blizzard Polish on top, but it's like the dream. And like they're gonna have PvP shit in
Like
there.
they're taking some of the cool things, like it seems like they're embracing the kind of world buff ideology as opposed to like trying to can it, I guess. But like do it in a way that's like smart and not like too overpowered. Like they're putting in like small buffs and stuff like that you get from just doing the content. And like how you retain that shit or whatever, I don't really know, but it seems like a good balance, like a good balanced approach on it. So like people aren't getting like pissed off, but there's still something to get from the world. Because I think most people like at least one element of world buffing, whether it's the actual buffs or like people being online, people meeting in booty bay, whatever. Like there's something to enjoy for most people. And I think they're going to be doing more like kind of MMO based kind of gameplay. Like there's probably going to be more open world stuff, right? Like I don't know what the deal is with this new battleground or whatever, but it's like they got to be embracing that side of the game. So it'd be interesting to see what gets developed.
Like I mean, like people are hyping up like the world PvP that's gonna be trying to zone into the BFD tunnel like camping that, and like seems really cool. Seems like really engaging content. A lot of opportunities for them to have like emergent gameplay happen, just because that world buff meta existing at a lower level. Like I don't know about you guys, but like ganking people in Red Ridge or like wetlands or something is always like something I always when I play this game by myself, I'm not running a guild. It's something I always do. So I get to character to 20, and I go to wetlands and I sit on the other side of the bridge and just wait for people to come by, and I just fucking kill them. Like me and one other dude, we'll just do that for hours and hours and hours and hours. Fuck leveling, fuck everything else. So for that to be kind of like taken and fucking made into a meta where there's gonna be world buffs, people are gonna be walking into BFD. It's sick. Like I don't know. I'm super excited about it.
Yeah, BFD is kind of a long hallway to get in there too. So
Yeah, it's like they couldn't have picked a better place. I don't think. And then imagine if like there's a quest line to go into like Horde to go into like Dead Mines that is like a starter quest that gets you into a quest for BFD, and then imagine if Alliance has to go to Wooden Caverns. Like that's sick too. Like if there's something like that, and like, man, that would be cool. There's all kinds of shit that could like put people in places in the world that they're not normally in, that could instigate into some kind of PvP interaction that is missing from the low level gameplay. But I'm all about like making gang squads and like going out and doing that kind of stuff. Even if it's not rewarding, but it doesn't matter because it's level 25 and there's not really anything rewarding to chase,
So is there an intention to have a PvP coalition?
Yeah.
And start doing things in the world like world bosses? Because I think they're going to add world bosses for lower levels probably with these dull lands they have going on.
Okay, so yeah, I anticipate world bosses to exist. I don't think they're gonna be in 25, at least at the beginning. But that War Song Discord, that's what that is. The start of it. The start of it. It'll be like where we get world buffs from and where we coordinate world bosses and probably roll on a server all together, like as a cohesive faction. And then we'll figure out all the other stuff later. But like as far as our guild itself goes, I mean, I want to be like a major face of the PvP scene. At least I personally will be. If you guys want to do that too, then let's fucking hit it. If it's if it ends up just being me rolling our guild tag out in the open, that's fine too.
No, I mean PvP is one of the main draws for me. That's what I feel like hardcore is lacking in the most in terms of engaging content, just naturally. So I'm really looking forward to the PvP stuff and making a world PvP happen.
Okay, how will invis pots and sappers affect the level 25 meta? So you can't get sappers. You won't be able to get sappers because it requires you to have goblin engineering, which is a level 30 quest, and and it's also to craft them. I think it's 240 or something, but you can use them at 205. Gnomish are the only people who will be able to get to that skill, and they won't have it anyway because of the level 30 cap on the quest. As far as invis pots, I'm sure people will do some with invis pots, but I expect alchemy, like the low level alchemy stuff, to be a major factor in how people engage with the game. They also spoiled like data mine. There's gonna be like hits like sharpening stuns. They give you hit percent. So that'll give you your hit percent against raid bosses in the level 25 Black Island depths. And then there's also gonna be like mana oils, or not mana oils, but like wizard oils that are Black Fathom Dust gives you hit chance too. So there's a lot of things that support low level rating. I also expect as content as the level cap gets higher, I expect them to increase the level cap of those raids maybe, because I think it's really weird for them to have just like a level 25 raid and then at level 60 nobody goes to it again, or like you can solo it. I think it's kind of weird. So I don't know what they'll do, but I expect there to be something. I don't know what it'll be, but They could just leave it at 25. I don't think anybody would ever do it though. Either that or it would be like tuned so easy that people would do it just because it's so easy and like the loot's so good and
It'll
but
drop
it's
over
super
power gear.
yeah, it'll drop over power gear and it'll just be like so it's so tuned to be so easy that you just throw a fucking pug together, no voice, and just fucking kill it.
There's a lockout on it? 3 days?
Yeah, it's a 3-day lockout.
That's kind of my concern with Season Discovery as a whole, is that if they're going to put all this power in players' hands, but don't give them any content that requires this.
I mean, so there's gonna be the raids, whatever, and I think the gear is like way overpowered for probably what the raids will be. Like I doubt it. You're putting 200 attempts in on anything sub 60 at the but I think like the player power is more gonna be on like the PvP side of things, and then it'll like really come into play and kind of even things out at the level 60 bracket is when maybe it starts happening around the 50, but I expect the level 60 bracket to really like put things back in kind of like, oh shit, I really do need consumables to do this. I really do need a group like a comp to do this, and maybe like the legacy content is like not really up to par. Like you're gonna be face rolling like Molten Core or whatever. Maybe they have some added mechanics or something for a few bosses, but I think the new content they add.
What they're doing overall with world buffs? Has there been anything on that?
No, and that's one concern.
So, yeah, my suspicion is that they're kind of like axing them, not like I don't know, maybe not fully, but like they're gonna like diminish their power, and then that power that you're losing is gonna be gained in like these runes and there's like overpowered items and stuff that you get in the earlier raids and stuff like that. Because they said they're not changing the health values of like raids and stuff like that. They said they're gonna increase the damage and other things, but they're not increasing the health.
They said that for open world content. I don't know if they're gonna do that with. I don't know. Maybe raids are different, but I think what they could do, and this is like one way to approach it potentially, is they have each world buff will be like like the TBC Battle Elixir, Guardian Elixir. So they could have like Ortiz Blessing, Rallying Cry, and the Dragon Slayer. Those are Battle Elixir slots, and then your Songflower, Moldar's Moxie, that's a stand buff in Dire Mall North. Those will be like Guardian Elixir kind of buffs. You'll still have all your full consumable suite, but you have a slot that a world buff takes. So you just now, instead of choosing between like all of the world buffs and you have to go get them all, you only need to get the 2. Because it's a similar problem, right? Like in TBC they added that because TBC guilds were going back and doing all vanilla content, getting all these world buffs and consumables for vanilla content, and then coming doing TBC bosses, and it was like an insane, like, you think Nax consumable grind is ridiculous? People were doing like SSC, they were fucking doing it with like every consumable in the game from vanilla up. Like it's like every world buff in the game, vanilla up. It's just nuts. I think that's a way they can solve it. They've already solved it that way before, so there's a precedent. So, and I don't really think there's gonna be a purge in that either, because the world buffs that they're adding, they said the Warsong Gulch one is like an on-use item, so I anticipate the Black Fathom Depths one to also be like an on-use item. So I don't really expect there to be a purge meta. So I really think it'll be. I think they're just really trying to cut away from like all these unfriendly user experiences and trying to make the game more approachable by a different demographic. Like I think they're really trying to attract a different player base, and like the lower level cap, the increased experience rates, all these things kind of lean in that direction, and like really allow new players to kind of engage with content. Anybody else have any other questions?
You talk to any other guild masters? Like, do you know anyone who's like big communities rolling there or anything like that?
Yeah.
Even if it's like our old people or whatever.
So none of the old Final Boss guilds have said anything to me except for Big the Bone, who has said he's going Alliance because he's a rat. But I've talked about 14 different guild leaders, 14 to 16 different Horde guild leaders, that are probably all rolling in the same server. So wherever we pick, there could be some people that go a different direction or something. But as far as like Fuzi's guild, I don't know, and I doubt they want to talk to me. I don't think Ash is like playing it like in a leadership capacity. Helsing would know more.
What about accidentals?
Yeah, right.
Accidentals, I can reach out to, but I have not yet. Hearthburn is gonna go Alliance, and like those guilds are probably gonna be on the same server as us wherever we roll.
Delusion.
I mean, it happens, but I don't think it'll be our. I don't think it's gonna be something we intentionally want to do. Like, we're not striving to do that. We're not partnering with anybody on Alliance or anything like that.
Yeah.
Well, if there's like some ridiculously lucrative reason to, okay, but I really doubt we have a real interest in that.
I mean, to be clear, I don't give a shit.
I don't either, but I'm saying, like, I don't really foresee any particular reason to do that. Like, if there's gonna be 10 layers on a server, there's no Black Lotus Mafia, there's no Devil Sword Mafia, like, there's none of that nonsense. There's no fucking goofy, just don't even.
Well, have they confirmed the amount of layers that we will have or not?
No, but I anticipate, like, whatever's, like, if we look at hardcore, the hardcore server we're on has 9 layers right now. Like, and Horde is like dead as fuck. So I expect at least like 10 layers. Especially with like everybody concentrated in the 1 to 25 bracket. There's just no way there's enough mobs for a server that's gonna be as popular as Discovery to not have like a fuckload of layers.
And also keep in mind, everything condenses to the same like 4 zones. So
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, there's no way there are just like just ass load of layers.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not opposed to playing with any particular person except for Swalter. So if you guys want to reach out to anybody you know who isn't doing anything, or is bored with Wrath, or not going to play Cataclysm, or whatever, died on hardcore and is not releveling, get them in the Discord and get them signed up. And if you haven't signed up and you're going to play, join the Discord if you're watching the stream. Go over to the channel, the SoD launch sign up channel, and then click what you're going to be playing with at launch. Soon-ish, I'm going to have a leveling group form for people to fill out to kind of build leveling groups based on people's schedules and stuff. And I'll have an announcement for that, so just pay attention for it. But I expect most people to hit within a day. But there's no rush. There's no like hard requirements like there was with. We're not rushing for any server first or anything crazy, so you don't need to be worried about taking time off or anything like that. It's gonna be a very relaxed experience for launch, I expect. But if you want to go hard, I'm gonna try to build groups for people to do that.
I'll be taking time off work for it.
What non-roll raid roles are you pushing for membership? I'm not really sure what you mean, but if you're talking about like ranks in the Discord or like ranks in the guild, I'm gonna be rolling into this probably with no officers. Like I don't have anybody in mind. Like keep in mind that like Final Boss, broke up a long time ago, and Murmur also at this point broke up a long time ago. So this is like a full roster reset. We might be pulling some people over from hardcore, but that guild's kind of fresh too. So it's kind of like a reestablishment of our guild. But it doesn't mean we don't have like, fucking ties to people. So, but if you're interested in some kind of leadership position, just make a good effort on launch, and we can talk to you about it sometime after launch.
Could they advance summons? Stuff like that.
What do you say?
Could they advance summons and stuff like that?
Can they ban them?
No, could they have mentioned that instead of like leadership?
Yeah, that is Mark what I meant. Like
okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
Not like leadership,
for
but,
crafting, like all
letters
that.
Yeah, crafting and summons, yeah.
So for someone, I mean, like if you want to have summon alts, those are gonna be your fucking Mooncloth cooldowns and your fucking Cure Rugged Hide cooldowns. Like those are the characters that you're gonna level once you got in your main level, then your fucking honor calf or whatever. But yeah, I think I think having those characters leveled early is just not going to do anything but help us. So yeah, I mean, go for it. And if you don't know what a summoning alt is, it's just a level 20 warlock. And as far as crafting goes, I think the traditional play of engineering, I think there will be a lot more options this time around. It's not going to be like traditional vanilla. I think there's not going to be a problem with you being a leather worker or a blacksmith this time around. I think there's going to be a lot of new stuff added, and we're going to want those roles. And like I said, I'm gonna have a sign up sheet, and I'll be asking you like, hey, what profession are you gonna have? And then you can tell me I'm gonna be an axesmith, whatever. Oh, okay, this guy's gonna be an axesmith. I don't have to worry about that now. So and I'll have all that listed out and stuff like that. When we get a little bit closer. But for now, if you're gonna be playing with us, for sure, sign up that you're gonna be playing, and then I have a good number of our roster. I expect you to not even need like an organized guild raid to be able to do BFD and Scarlet Monastery and probably whatever in Nomer. I don't expect you to need anything. I think you'll just be able to pug it. It'll be easy, fucking slash roll loot, like nothing serious. Now doesn't mean we're not gonna have guild groups and stuff like that, but I'm just saying like it's not gonna need to be as organized as like Molten Core or something. Am I playing Discovery with Ooze? Have not talked to Ooze about Discovery. I mean, yeah, whoever wants to, I can do it. But I don't have any problems with Ooze. I know he's like, I don't know who I'm talking to, but
Absolutely, you fucking boomer, mute yourself.
You can hear me?
Yes.
yeah, you're just like, you're like stacking cups or something.
No, I'm driving around the rail yard. I wasn't sure if this thing was working.
Oh, it's working.
Anybody else have anything? Alright, cool. I'm gonna cut the stream